Good morning, everybody. It's David and Jen here with David Christopher's, and we have been absent for a couple of weeks.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. We've been out of town doing some traveling with our boys. Some of you followed along with our Instagram story and some of the places that we went. We went to Ohio to the Air Force Museum, which was really cool.
In Dayton.
Mm-hmm. We went to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where my son and I, my oldest son, we went to a George Strait concert because I've been a George Strait fan since I was a little girl, and my son loves George Strait now. And I gave him my straight out of the box CD set, if you remember what a CD is.
What are those things?
Because his car is a little bit older and he has a CD player, so he can actually use those in his car. We traveled from Pennsylvania to Washington, D.C., where we explored the all the museums and the monuments, and that was a lot of fun. And then we traveled to our last destination to some special friends of ours home in Louisville, Tennessee. The Oberholzers, who were very hospitable to host us for a few days, took us out on the boat, let the kids swim in the pool, took us to their cabin, which had four-wheelers and gun shooting and just a grand old time.
Lots of fun. Lots of different activities.
Yes, and I brought a tick home with me. So that was a lot of fun as well. So traveled all the way home with me from Louisville, Tennessee, I'm sure. So we're back.
Tennessee tick. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a Tennessee tick. So we are back, and I know you're ready to just probably jump right on in. So,
sure. And
maybe we can talk about our travels while you create. Tell us what you're doing today.
So today we're going to be using our acanthus ribbon, which kind of gives that chinoiserie vibe. It's got that light blue and dark blue on that white background. But we're also going to be mixing in some yellow. We're going to be using some sunflowers and some lemons. So we're going to be working for like a very summery, almost like a Greek-styled wreath today.
Ooh, fun.
So a lot of that Mediterranean vibe going on.
I love that. Well, let's jump right in.
What we're going to be doing is we're going to be using some of these pepper leaves, keeping with our Mediterranean theme. And really we're just going to cut these into some different pieces so that we can get a little green on the outside of our wreath. This is a 24-inch grapevine wreath. That is already falling down because I did not wire it up just yet.
Should have learned by now.
Should have, but I haven't.
And I need to get some item numbers because if you check out the description, you're going to see a list or a link to find all of the items that David is using in the wreath today. And what size grapevine wreath did you say this one is?
This is 24-inch.
24-inch. And we are going to put together, I'm hopeful, a kit. So you can buy these items separately, or you'll be able to purchase the kit and get everything you need to make this wreath for yourself. Now, will there be an option for the 18-inch wreath, or is this just going to be the 24-inch wreath? What do you think?
We could make an 18-inch option, I think.
So I'll make a note that we may make some adjustments to the ingredients for the smaller wreath, right?
Cut the ingredients down a little bit.
Cut it down, a smaller batch. Okay, so I'm going to a lot of times I've already done this part. I've written these down, but if I don't grab these tags before David uses them, sometimes digging in the floor for them is not a lot of fun. So don't mind me.
You're just making things work.
Trying anyway.
All right.
The rhododendron was blooming in Tennessee. It was gorgeous.
It was.
It makes me want some of that at my own house. It grows wild. I mean, I'm sure you can plant it, but is it mainly something that just grows wild?
Yeah, in that area, in the mountain region, it does. mountain laurel and the rhododendrons. But they were very nice to see on the trails. It's good to get to see some things that we don't have in this area necessarily.
Well, in Tennessee, not that particular part, but Tennessee is my home state. It's where I grew up. So it always feels like home when I go to any part of Tennessee.
You didn't miss out by not growing up in Alabama?
I didn't miss out. Do you think I missed out?
Sure.
Well, they're very similar, but you know,
They are.
There's just something a little bit more special about your home state, I think.
Plus you lived about, what, 20 minutes from the state line?
Right.
So,
I lived close to Alabama, but still counted as
almost
Tennessee.
the same thing.
Lived in southern Tennessee, and now we're in North Alabama, so there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got all my numbers, so going back to my camera duties. You're cutting this up.
I am. Just giving us some green on the outside and inside edges of the wreath.
That is going to be pretty.
Well, I hope so. We will find out. I'm trying to not fall asleep at the moment. I don't know why I'm so tired. I think our trip wore me out or something.
Well, you don't sleep well in most other places.
I did not.
It's not your bed, not the normal sounds you are accustomed to hearing or not hearing. Our house is very quiet, so we were
Very quiet.
a little disrupted in the cities.
We live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You don't hear sirens and cars going down the road and things like that. So it is very different than inner city areas.
Do you remember that time years ago, like 12 years ago, I had a sleep study because I thought I had a sleep disorder. Come to find out, it was just environmental because we lived in a different house that was on a busy road.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just such a light sleeper. And once we moved, I was completely cured of that.
No more sleep problems.
Right. I mean, every now and again, but it's not. And then, you know, if you're not home, I really don't have sleep problems because you're not wallowing
So
around.
I'm the problem. I see.
David is a wallower. He
I do move around a
moves
lot.
a lot. Shakes his leg,
A lot.
kicks, rolls. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So now we're going to get started with just starting to incorporate some of our florals. And we're going to start with this, I think we call this a pom-pom marigold, ruffled marigold. That's what it is. And we're just going to add these in, give us a little bit of a cream base for the wreath, and then we're going to add our blues and yellows on top of that. And these just have small little ruffled flowers that are going to work well for our color scheme here. I'm just going to mix those throughout the wreath. Maybe I should do this one with my eyes closed, and then I can fall asleep while I'm working. I can work in my sleep.
Instead of whistle while you work, sleep while you work.
Mm-hmm. So we're just cutting these about 4 to 6 inches long, and then placing them. Kind of in and out of the wreath so that we don't have them all exactly the same.
You're just using one bundle?
I am. Because these are just kind of a background to fill in with some of that white color. We don't want it to be the main focal point. But it's a more inexpensive floral that's going to take up a lot of space, and then we don't have to have as much for the rest of the wreath. We've got those in. Now we're going to work on some sunflowers. And this particular sunflower bush has different sizes, so it's got some blooms and some of these buds in it, which I really like because it gives me variety, and I think always seems to make things look more realistic when they're multiple sizes of one flower. We're just going to mix these in and out.
And how many of the sunflowers are you going to be using?
I'm planning to just use the 2 bunches that I have here. Move my bud here. Decided on a better place for it, but I really had it in there. And I like to remember to tell people, I try to remember to tell people that, you know, I want the flower heads facing lots of different directions. I don't want them to all be pointing the same way. That really helps with, you know, maintaining some of that realism. If they're all very flat, it just looks very manufactured. So keep that in mind as you are placing things. And I've got gotten a little bit out of balance here with more yellow a little bit over here, and I really need another sunflower here, but that's okay because we've got a little bit more of our lemons that we're going to be using and this onion flower, so we can balance that yellow out. As long as you've got the color correct, you know, we should be okay there. We'll not have to cut up another sunflower bush to make that work. Now we're going to be using these blue flowers, and these have kind of like a dried blue color. That's what I would consider it anyway. And it's our faux dried viburnum. So it looks kind of like a traditional viburnum stem, and except it's blue instead of white or green, which would be what most people would think of it as viburnum. And we're going to be using this in between some of our yellows and our creams. We really don't want to like overlap that very much, but we just want to get a good amount of this blue in there. push my pepper leaves more toward the back so I can see the floral. Finding a few good places for these as we figure out where the most needed spaces are. Just separating these two so they look like individual pieces instead of one big flower. That usually helps to make it look like they're more even. And sometimes you can just separate them all together if need be. But get that blue color to go all the way around. We're going to need one more of those.
We always get questions about our glue, and we do use a ton of glue, so we melt glue chips in an electric skillet. You can also melt glue sticks in an electric skillet. You can even get, we have a larger electric skillet, but you can even get the little small ones, and it can save a lot of time instead of a glue gun.
Yeah, instead of trying to individually dot everything, you just dip it and stick it, dip it and stick it. Just make sure you don't dip your hands in the glue. That's or sometimes when you're placing them in the wreath, you get glue on your hands. So I like to keep mine not so hot I'm gonna die. But that's not everyone's way. Some people like it super hot.
And wire cutters, these aren't anything super special.
They are not.
They're just wire cutters. What are they, Irwins or
Craftsman?
Craftsman?
Mm-hmm.
I know you have multiple
I do
brands.
have a few different ones. I like Klein and I like Craftsman's are okay. I really like these with this metal plate on the back of them. That really helps save your grip when you're cutting a lot of different things over and over, trying to keep from getting carpal tunnel. It's great to have something like that that makes it just a little bit easier. It gives you a little more leverage.
And you've moved on to the onion flower?
I have moved on to the onion flower, which, you know, that's kind of what it is, but it's actually a really pretty little pom-pom. I know onion flower doesn't make it sound very pretty.
Would you like me to change the name of it to pom-pom flower?
Yellow plastic spiky flower. These work really great outside. The yellow and being this plastic flower really keeps that color for a long period of time.
And how many of those are you using? Do they come?
Not sure yet.
Are they individuals or?
No, well, there's 4 of these on a stem.
Okay.
But like I said, if you're worried about balancing the color, which you should be, it's great to have multiple things of the same color. So if I run out of, you know, my sunflower, I can fill in with some of the yellow from the onion flower. And then I also have lemons that we can add in here. So we're going to add a few of those, but I think we're going to add some light blue, this little snowball hydrangea first.
So I think I'm counting 2 of the onion flower bundles. If 4 come on a stem.
I do believe that's correct.
think I'm counting 8 total, so. So those are the Fresh Touch Snowball.
Yes. It's a little snowball hydrangea. And these work great. You don't have to cut them apart or anything. If you just need something, you want to stick it in there, this is perfect for that. And it's got a nice light color, but it's also got a little darker vein in it. So they work great if you want a little mixture of mostly light with just a little darker.
I'm trying to figure out where you're going to put the bow on this.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
You usually leave a little
Kind
gap.
of forgot about that, but
like you did. I
We'll
felt
make
like
it
you
work.
did.
we will make it work.
You usually leave a little hole, sort of. And I sort of saw one, but then you started filling
I'm
it in.
a little out of sorts today.
It's June. You're supposed to be full of energy, and you don't have market or
I know.
Christmas trees to decorate. Or,
I do have Christmas trees to
well,
decorate.
This is true. You do. We are trying.
I don't have Christmas trees to decorate.
We are trying to get our showroom in Sheffield ready for wholesale customers. So we sell B2B. So if you own your own business, you can purchase our products through our wholesale channel, and you can come to our showroom and look at them in person, or you can shop online. So David is working on trying to get the showroom ready, and then we have major plans to figure out for a pop-up holiday shop in October. That's
Right.
going to be here before we know it.
Lots to do.
It's sort of
Lots to do.
making me panic, but you know.
Wouldn't be Christmas without a little panic in it, right?
Right.
Okay, so I think I am going to lose just a little bit of some of this down here so that I can make a bow that I forgot about completely until it was mentioned. Thank you.
You're welcome. I do what I can to help, you know.
Someone that's, I don't really plan too far ahead all the time. I just start gluing.
That
That's my
ribbon's
way.
sitting there, and I was like,
That
where is he going with
is
this?
my way. So, you know. But like I said, we'll figure it out as we go. Make it work. So don't do as I did. Leave a gap. Better. Let's add this one in somewhere. Can use a little blue up here at the top. Right here. Always room for more.
Well, it just shows we're human too.
Okay. Now we're going to use a few of these lemons. So no need to cut these apart. They're going to work just great like they are. And like I said, they're going to keep adding some of that yellow color, just like our sunflowers. So if you've got some place that you feel like you need a little yellow, because we didn't get a sunflower up here, this is going to be a perfect place to stick our lemons. So that we get some more of that yellow color and balance that out. Just a few more because again, I don't have to fill in this space, not with other things, but I will have to fill it in with some of my ribbon that's going to match this very well. Maybe one more lemon and I'll be done with the lemons anyway.
So that's 6 of those. And here's a couple. I guess you're not using these two.
I don't think I need
Okay.
those. Okay, got our lemons. Now we need to add our ribbon to this wreath. So I actually already have some wire cut. And we're gonna do we're gonna do a pretty decent sized bow here. And if you are interested in bow tying, we have some bow tying videos. We probably need to update some of those just for the sake of keeping them fresh. At some point when we have time and I'm not ready to take a nap, we may do that. I think I got a little head congestion from the trip and it's making me tired. So we're going to tie this off with our wire and tie that pretty tight. And you wouldn't necessarily have to add any yellow to this, but we're going to add just a little bit just to coordinate with the rest of our yellow. Do that, we're going to cheat a bit and just tie some decent sized loops. But by cheating, which I'm referring to, we're really just going to tie this around part of the blue so that I didn't have to tie it together. It's just a little bit easier to do it that way. You get the yellow in there without having to do a lot of extra bow tying, a lot of tedious bow tying. So we're just adding a bit of yellow here and there. So it's not super important for that to be the focal point. So we're really just leaving it with a tail and a couple of loops that we can pull around to the sides and have those show pretty well. Okay, we've got a little bit of yellow in there. We just need one last little piece. And really all that is we're just going to make a little loop, very small. And just that one piece. We're going to tie that pretty tight. And then we're going to put that in the center of the blue. And now we just have to wrap our bow around the wreath itself. See if we can get it through. I like to try to get some of the wire to go through the actual grapevine. Just makes it feel a little more secure when you tie it on. And then we just need to cut the tails of the ribbon and we will be finished.
Well, this gorgeous beauty is available as a kit, or if you don't want to make it yourself, you can order it as a completed wreath and we will ship it to you, right?
Thought she was going to say this gorgeous beauty is going home with me.
Well,
That's
too.
normally what happens.
Because I do need a new wreath on my door right now. Because my wreath is, well, right now it's just sort of like a boxwood wreath with a bow on it. But I need something bright and shiny for summer, and I think this would match my little flag has sunshine on it, and my rug has a sunshine on it, and so
can't go wrong with yellow and blue.
No, I think it's great. We appreciate you being here today. We're so grateful for your support. We hope that you'll continue to follow along, subscribe to our channel. That helps get our videos out, because all of this content that we produce for you is free of charge. Other people are charging for classes, and you have to join a group to get this information, and David is just giving it away for free. So subscribe, share, like, comment. Let us know what your summer plans are. We love to hear from you and to interact with you. And by we, I usually mean me.
Yeah.
Because
I'm going to go take a nap.
Yeah, David is probably going to be sleeping. Yeah. Till next time, bye.
I'll be more awake next time. Hopefully.